Does it go in the fridge or does it go in the cupboard? Today I'm going to talk about what goes in the fridge food-wise, obviously, what else is going to go in the fridge, and what goes in the cupboard, because a lot of people do different things and I never know where to put certain things. Some things I know where they go. Other foods, I have absolutely no idea whether they go in the fridge, whether they go in the cupboard, or whether they just go on the side. I don't know. So I did a little bit of research. I had a look at different blogs. I went on Google and I searched on there. And today I want to tell you what goes in the fridge and what goes in the cupboard. And I would love to know if you agree or disagree. Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a solo mum to earn. On this channel, I talk everything mum life, budgeting, frugal living, saving, a bit of everything. So if you like that kind of thing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So are you like me when you don't know what goes where? So let's get into it. First of all, if we know where our food is supposed to be stored correctly, it will save us a lot of money because we won't be spoiling the food, having to throw things away and basically throwing our money in the bin. If we know exactly where our food is supposed to be stored, it will last longer, which means it will save us more money and we'll be able to have food for the whole week and having to keep topping up because we put our food in the wrong place. So let's start with what should go in the fridge. So first of all, our soft fruits such as berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, any soft fruits, they should go in the fridge. If they are left out on the side at room temperature, they will spoil very quickly. So make sure that once you get your berries home, you give them a good wash, you make sure they're completely dry and you put them straight into the fridge. Our leafy greens such as our lettuce, our spinach, kale, our herbs, they also need to be put in the fridge because it will keep them crunchier for longer. Now, what I have also learned is if you take them out of their packaging and put them in a glass container and pop them in the fridge, again, they will last even longer. So do you put your leafy greens in the fridge? I know that I do. I've never really thought about putting them out on the side. I've always kept them in the fridge. But by doing so, you actually make them last longer because they keep their crunch a little bit longer as well. This is an obvious one, but if you have leftovers, if you've made like a nice chili or spaghetti bolognese the night before and you've got leftovers for the next dinner or for lunch the next day, make sure that once it's completely cooled, it is put into the fridge, not left out on the side. Otherwise, it will grow bacteria and we don't want to be putting that inside our bodies, do we? So make sure that once it is completely cooled, then you put it in a container and you put that in the fridge. The next one is an easy one. All our dairy or our dairy alternatives, so any plant-based milk, our cheese, our yogurt, they need to be kept chilled, they need to be kept cold. That's a really obvious one, isn't it? But put all them in the fridge. I don't know anybody that will put them out of the fridge because like plant-based milk is not put in the fridge at the supermarket. My plant-based milk that I pick up from Aldi is always just on the side. It's never in the fridge. But once I've opened it, I put it straight in the fridge. So do you do the same? Opened jams or spreads or sauces, once they've been opened, you need to put them in the fridge. This could be your jams, your ketchup, your mayo, your pesto, anything like that. Once they have been opened, you need to put them straight into the fridge. If they are not put in the fridge and they are left out on the side, they can grow some mold and bacteria. And again, we don't want to be putting that inside our bodies. Another really obvious one is any meats or fish, whether they're raw or cooked, need to go straight in the fridge. Pretty obvious why you would do that. Obviously bacteria, obviously it will just go off and it will make you very, very sick. So make sure you are putting your fish and your meats, cooked or uncooked, straight into the fridge. If you have cut any fruit or vegetables like sliced apples, if you've peeled and cut an onion and you've got half an onion left, all of that needs to go in the fridge as well and not left out on the side. This not only stops it from spoiling, but it also stops any odours in your actual kitchen because we don't want to walk into a kitchen and have that really strong onion smell. Now, this one, a lot of people are going to agree or disagree. Now, I'm not having an opinion on this because I don't want people coming at me. But you have your opinion and drop it down in the comments below. Eggs. Where do your eggs go? This is the age-old question. No one seems to know where they go. Some people put them out on the side. Some people put them in the cupboard. Some people put them in the fridge. So what do you do? Now, I don't know what the reason is of this, but the research I did, if you buy eggs in the UK and they are on the shelf when you buy them, they are to be stored in the fridge. And once they're chilled, they must stay chilled. So you can't get them out of the fridge and put them on the side after. I don't know why. I couldn't find a reason why. So if you know the reason, do let me know, because you know I love to learn. But what do you do with your eggs? And this is just the UK. So what is it in other countries? So if you are not from the UK, where do you store your eggs? If you do not store them in the fridge, do you leave them on the side? Do you put them in the cupboard? What do you do with them? Okay, let's move on to what should be in the cupboards or out on the side. So let me know if you have these foods, do you put them in a cupboard or do you put them out on the side? So the very first one is bananas. They need to stay out. My bananas stay out on the side and I always separate them from other fruits. There is a reason why, but I can't remember what that reason is. But I remember I saw something once that said that you had to leave your bananas separate from other fruits, and I've always done it that way. So I leave bananas out on the side because it helps ripen them. And if you put them in the fridge, it's going to ruin the texture and the taste of the banana. So what do you do with your bananas? Now, potatoes and onions. Potatoes and onions need to be stored in a dark place. Okay, not in sunlight or anything else. It needs to be stored in a dark place. And potatoes and onions need to be stored separately. They can't be put together because it causes sprouting. So you need to make sure that your potatoes and your onions are in completely different places so they're not together. If you put potatoes in the fridge, they will cause starch. And if you put onions in the fridge, it will make them go mushy. The most important thing is potatoes and onions need to be in a dark place and not together. There you go. You have been told. Okay, let's move on to bread. Now, bread should be stored in a cupboard or in a bread bin. Bread should not be stored in the fridge because it will make it stale a lot quicker and make it go off. Ugh, we don't want moldy stale bread. You can freeze bread to make it last longer if you wanted to. I particularly don't like frozen bread, and even when you defrost it, it just doesn't taste the same. And I can't eat bread anyway because it makes me bloat. But my mum is quite happy just to put some bread in the freezer, get a couple of slices out and make toast of it later on that day. Not for me, but let me know if you do freeze your bread and where you actually store your bread. Because some people do store it in the fridge, but apparently you're not supposed to. Moving on to tomatoes or tomatoes. Tomatoes. We call it tomatoes in the UK. They are to be left on the side or in a cupboard. They are not to be put in the fridge because they will lose their taste. If you put tomatoes in the fridge, they'll lose their taste and their flavour, and you don't want that. So they need to be left out on the side or they need to be put in a cupboard. Unopened jars and tins. So anything like I've said before, your jams, your ketchup, your mayo, your peanut butter, your honey. If it's unopened, it stays in the cupboard. If it's opened, it goes in the fridge. I don't always do that. My peanut butter is open and in the cupboard still. Maybe I should start putting that in the fridge. But then I think my fridge would just be full of jars. So I need to look at that one a bit more. And the final one for the cupboard is squash oils or vinegars. Even once they've been opened, they do not need to go in the fridge. They just need to be left out on the side. So squash oils or vinegars can just be left out on the side or in the cupboard and do not need to go in the fridge. Okay, so let's move on to what could be in the food cupboard and the fridge. So this is going to contradict a few things, but let's go. First thing, let's get it out of the way, is our eggs. Now, the research I've done is saying that if it's in the UK, if you buy eggs in the UK, the fridge is best. But if you don't buy them in the UK, I don't know why this is, you can leave them out on the side. However, if you do put them in the fridge, they must stay in the fridge until use. So let me know your thoughts on that one. I'm looking forward to the comments on this one because everybody has a different opinion when it comes to eggs. So let me know what you think and what you do. Avocados. I'm not an avocado fan. I don't like it. They are so nutritious, full of healthy fats, really good for you, very high in calories as well. but I don't like them. I just can't stand them. It's just ugh. Anyway, if you do like avocados, they can be left out on the side to ripen. However, once you've cut them and you've got, say, half an avocado left, it then must go in the fridge. So I don't have avocados, so I don't need to worry about it, but let me know what you do. Okay, apples, oranges and lemons can go in the fridge or they can stay out on the side. Now, if they go in the fridge, they will last longer. If they stay at room temperature, they get better flavour. So I think if you are going to eat them fairly quickly, keep them in room temperature. If you are going to make them last a little bit longer, or you're not going to eat them within a few days or a week or anything, maybe find some room for them in the fridge. Where do you put your apples, oranges and lemons? And the final one is if you have any nut or seed butters, they can be kept in the cupboard. If you have natural nut and seed butters, then it's probably best to put them in the fridge to stop oil separation. So that just answered my previous question about my peanut butter. So that is all the research that I discovered about what goes in the fridge and what goes in the cupboard. And obviously you have your usual stuff that you put in the fridge anyway, like, you know, like ham and all that kind of stuff. But do you agree with everything that I've said, or do you not agree with everything I said? Because everybody has a different opinion on this. Let me know what you do about any of the foods that I have said in this video. There's no judgment here. We can all do our own thing. And as long as we're not getting sick and we're still healthy, all is good. But this is what Google and other blog posts are telling me, that is how we should store our food, what should go in the fridge, what should go in the cupboard, and what should go in either the fridge or the cupboard. So a few little tips for you is make sure that you label everything. If you have leftovers, make sure you're labeling what the leftovers are, unless of course you're going to be eating it the next day for lunch or for dinner. Make sure that you're using clear containers so you can see what is actually in your containers. Make sure you keep any dairy products away from the fridge door, because the fridge door is where it is too warm, such as milk and yogurt. That will all be spoiled. So make sure that everything is actually in the fridge when it comes to your dairy products. And your fridge should be under 5 degrees Celsius. So get a little fridge thermometer if you can to make sure that it's under 5 degrees Celsius, so that you make sure that you keep in your food for longer, which will ultimately save you money, because you're not having to keep going into the shop and buying things again because you stored them incorrectly and they were spoiled and you had to throw them away. So I hope that helped. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the comments on this one and seeing what people do with their food and how they store their foods, and because everybody, like I said, is different. If you like this kind of video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe so you don't miss any future videos from me, and let me know if you would like me to do more videos like this, because I am finding them very enjoyable, but I'm only going to do it if you find it enjoyable too. I hope whenever you're watching this, you're having a good morning, good day or good evening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye guys.